Hello, everyone who's watching now or watching the replay, anything like that. We have Stephanie, who people may or may not know, one of my friends, and then Roger, who we've seen around for all of the other Mistborn Era 2 stuff. Stephanie's reading Shadows of Self, even though she's not like part of the live chat, and I just haven't seen her in a long time. And I just wanted to hang out.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. And I'm excited because Roger, Stephanie, and I are all going to buddy read The Gathering Storm. Is that the name of this book in December? Which I think will make it that much more fun for me when I have to continue on with my Wheel of Time journey that everyone rightly tells me to stop. But I just don't.
I mean, at this point, you're too committed.
Exactly.
You're like 13 books in or something if you read the prequel already.
I read everything Jordan.
That was your favorite one, right? You liked that one because he actually was like semi-focused on.
I don't know if it's my favorite because having a favorite implies anything got more than 4 stars. But
you can still have a favorite out of
the best of the worst for you.
So my favorites are weird. I like A Crown of Swords, I like Knife of Dreams, and I like New Spring. And I don't think that's usually people's favorites.
Especially not Crown of Swords. I feel like Knife of Dreams, people kind of like because it finally has something going on after like thousands of pages of nothing.
Yeah. And also for people who are joining us, we actually are reading like Sanderson books. We're not reading Wheel of Time, but we're just discussing.
Hey, there's crossover. We're about to start the Sanderson portion of the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, no. And honestly, my year of Sanderson starts in December. Well, actually, no, it starts in November. Actually, I'm just not going to not be reading a Sanderson book for a while is actually, I think, what I've realized with all the secret projects. Yeah. Hello, Bands of Mourning. Bands of Mourning, I think, is my favorite of Era 2, if I'm remembering correctly. Because the thing is, they were published so close to each other that I don't remember where Shadows of Self ends and Bands of Mourning begins. So I don't remember. I remember some scenes in Bands of Mourning that I know are in Bands of Mourning that I really like. So, and Stephanie, this is your first time, right?
It is.
That's
and nice. It's been a while since I've read a Sanderson. Well, before Alloy of Law. So it's been nice.
Yeah, because you still haven't read Rhythm of War, fake fan.
I know. It's looking at me over there, too. Like
it took me a long time to get through Rhythm of War. I think I read it over like 3 months because I read it just in short little chunks, but I really liked it.
I think I burnt myself out a bit because work was crazy, and then I read the first 3 back to back. And then
That's a lot of Stormlight.
Yeah, because
that is a lot. Well, and you were reading Malazan, and you were reading Wheel of Time. You really set yourself up for failure there in your epic fantasy burnout.
I did.
I've been more strategic. I've been waiting to even start any Malazan until Wheel of Time is over.
That's what I was smart. Roger, that's what I was going to do. And then all of my friends were like, we're all going to start Malazan. This was the start of 2021. It was a long time ago. Everyone's like, we're reading Gardens of the Moon in January. And I'm like, fine. I like reading with my friends. I'll join. Guess who's the only one left reading Malazan? Okay. What book are you on?
I just finished book 3.
Yeah, I'm on book 6.
I know. But I'm still reading it.
I know. But you guys all left me, and now I'm reading both. But I like Malazan significantly more than Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare the two. They really aren't the same project. There's a lot of stuff that happens books 8 through 10, or should I say not a lot of stuff that happens in books 8 through 10.
There should have been a lot of editing, and it could have been maybe 1 or 2 much tighter books.
Yes. I think actually, so I don't mind Winter's Heart, but Crossroads of Twilight is an abomination of filler. Like, I don't understand what the point of that book is. Like, I actually do. It's like, let's give everyone else's perspectives of this big thing that happened in Winter's Heart. And I'm like, but this is a boring way of doing that narrative structure. That's my opinion. Hello, Beth. Hello, Aiden. So I know as after Matt gets, I don't, yes, I think he does in that one. Maybe.
I don't know, they're all kind of blurred together at this point.
Matt is too, because we go sometimes books without Matt existing.
Yeah, I think it was that one because I remember that clearly, but books 8 through 10 are kind of a blur because I did not like them.
Yeah. No, I mean, book 7 I liked the same reason I like Knife of Dreams, and it's like, conclusion, 2 threads. We are wrapping up some things. You should be reading Hero of Ages, I agree, because Hero of Ages is great.
Yes.
Also, how are you feeling for reading sprints tonight? What do you guys want to do? I want to use this Pomodoro kitty because it's cute and I like it, and it freaks people out when it meows. I enjoy that feature, but it kind of has it set up that you set up sprints and break times. So how long do you guys want the sprints to be, and how long do you want our chatty break time sessions to be? With the knowledge that we can pause and break things at any point because we're adults. But
I'm fine with whatever, honestly.
I don't know. 30 and 15, is that okay, or do we want longer sprints?
No, that works.
Okay, let me see, because I feel like that gives a good amount of time for like chatting without us getting overrun. It freaks. I used it with Judith yesterday. We were doing Patreon sprints, and Judith was hanging out with me, and I didn't tell her it was going to meow on purpose. It was amazing. Because I think it was Aaron's channel. Aaron, and Stephanie were doing sprints for Ship of Magic or something. And I didn't know that cat thing was going to happen. And it was like on my TV. And like, I was like, that's not what my cat sounds like. Like, what happened? So yeah. Winter's Heart is your third fave.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, the third, the Winter's Heart is important. Winter's Heart did a thing I didn't actually think would be accomplished in Wheel of Time.
It's important, but it's.
I can see why Wheel of Time would be many people's fave, especially if it's one of the first series that you read. If you were younger and I was just getting into it and I had found Wheel of Time, it might be higher up in my feels. But since I already have other favorites that I like more.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think, and also I was talking to Jess because Jess was trying to figure out why, like, there's a lot of classic fantasy things that a lot of people love that I don't like, or don't love as much as other people, like Lord of the Rings, Song of Ice and Fire, Wheel of Time. Like, I read them, but I don't connect with them like other people. But, like, I love Malazan. And she's like, why is that the one? And I think, I'm like, because it has really cool magic. And I should have been reading the Dungeons and Dragons stuff you grew up with, Roger, because I think that's what would have connected with me, because that's where the cool magic is.
War of the Spider Queen. It's only a 6-book series, but they're short, like 350-page books.
Do they have good audiobooks, or is it best?
I have never listened to any of the audiobooks, so I can't speak on that.
I think, honestly, I have to wait to start any of that till after Malazan and Wheel of Time are in a better place, and Realm of the Elderling. I'm a little...
I can't say that they are more just fun, so they might almost be like nice palate cleansers if you're looking for something that's fun fantasy and not necessarily as heavy on themes and descriptions and more about the cool, awesome, like bombastic magic battles and less about like hope in this horrible world or whatever.
You know, I always like the idea of palate cleansers, but do I read them? That's something I should look at in my stats, because I feel like I don't. I should.
You don't read that many.
And I think part of that is like I watch my palate cleansers. Like I think I consume palate cleansers. It's just not like my books. Yeah, Shadow Rising was the book that made me realize, for better or worse, Michael Kramer was getting me through the rest of this. Because I couldn't I read it anymore. I think that's a thing with character work. So I think character work in every book, like your favorites or not favorites, is like sometimes the author brings something to life, but more often than not, they bring something half to life, and you as a reader bring the other half to life. And that like midpoint connection doesn't happen with every author and reader. And I think that's a Wheel of Time thing, because I agree that I don't understand the love for characters in Wheel of Time, but obviously lots of people love them. So Tammy.
He is not my favorite.
Becky Chambers works as a cleanser, except for like her Wayfarer books are kind of long. At least the first one. I actually liked the more recent one. Book 3 was when Stephanie and I started that journey. So long ago.
Many moons ago.
2020. We've been doing this for so long, Stephanie. Hello. All right. We've got a good group of people here. I'm going to say we'll start at the 45. We'll start our first 30-minute sprint, if that works for you guys. Oh, have you started Shadows of Self yet, either of you? I think you have, Stephanie.
I'm like 2 chapters in or something, so like yes, but not a ton.
Okay.
I meant to start it, and then I got distracted by the arm of the Sphinx. So now that I'm done with that, I'm back to Sanderson.
Nice. No,
I
yeah,
just wanted to start it because I don't know how long it's going to take me since I'm sick brain. So I'm like giving myself the time to make sure it's done on time for the live show.
Luckily, it's like not heavy, like dense reading. I don't remember.
Oh,
No.
I don't remember what happens in this book. Overly Average Ben and Allie do his read.
Hi,
Oh my god,
Ben.
so many friends. Ben, I forget, is in our time zone. I don't know if you know Ben, Roger, but he's usually in Europe, so he's normally not here for these. See, this is why I'm doing it. I am reading Wheel of Time so that people who have the same taste as me really know it's not for them. Like, that's why I'm doing it. It's really
like I like it, but I don't love it.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite on like the extreme where Angela's like pretty much hate reading it at this point.
I'm not giving anything lower than 2.5 or 2 stars, and that was Crossroads of Twilight, and even
She's
fans
strongly dislike reading it.
I will say the only reason I'm really good about going on with the series is because we're buddy reading it, because I don't know if I'd be this far if it was just me.
Which is funny because that was the reverse for a while.
It was.
You don't have to be reading Sanderson to be here. This is just an excuse to have sprints. Ooh, Well of Ascension. That might be my favorite Mistborn book. Like in all of the Mistborn books. Ooh, Small Favors. Yeah. But no, if you're not reading a Sanderson book, feel free to tell us what you're reading if you want to. That's cool. We should do, though, whenever we do finish this, which should be next year. If I don't finish Wheel of Time in 2023 before I'm married, it's just, I'm done. Like, that's my cutoff. By the time I get married, I want to be done with Wheel of Time.
That is totally doable. We can do it.
It's totally doable. We should have, like, a live show, like, retrospect.
Is it worth it? I thought about that the other day.
Tammy, what everyone on the internet who watches your videos could have told you this was a mistake.
Sometimes you have to learn the hard way.
Well, and then what happens is Eye of the World is objectively not a bad classic fantasy book. Like, it's really not. I actually like Eye of the World quite a bit, but it tricks people. I truly think it tricks people. Let's see. Wedding present to myself. Yeah, that's. But Aiden, we're being really rough about this book. Also, it's an ebook, so it's just going to be a file that you only partially own for the rest of your life.
Or you could delete it and just be like, I mean, you'd have to buy it again, but it'd be gone.
Oh, I want to read this book. This is an indie book, right? It has like the black and purple red cover. Am I making that up? I don't think I am. I want to read that one, though. Oh. Yeah, you can't even burn it. I'm sorry. I went into Wheel of Time eyes wide open, though. My stepdad told me I wouldn't like it, but I did it before BookTube. It was because there was going to be a TV show, which is always my trap. That's my trap. You say there's a TV show, I'll read it. Mm-hmm. And then I just told myself, even in 2019 when I started, it's going to take you 5 years. You're not finishing this very quickly because you're not going to make yourself read a book a month because that would hurt you.
Oh, I would have burned out so fast if I did that.
I haven't read one since January, Stephanie. I was looking. That's when I finished Knife of Dreams.
I was telling Stephanie that's why you're joining our buddy read, because you needed the
I need the motivation.
We can motivate each other.
Ooh, Beartown. That's a trilogy I want to try, but I'm also scared of.
I've heard that one's so good, but I know it's going to make me so mad.
I get nervous about Bachman sometimes because when I read Man Called Ove, he handles lots of tough subject matter, but I don't know if he actually handles it with research or care, because he kind of used suicidal ideation as like a trope, and I didn't know how I felt about that, and I tried to find out if he did any research, because like I don't know, it didn't feel like, it felt like it was being done for like laughs or something. I don't know, it was really weird. I didn't like how it was done, but no one ever talks about it, so I don't know if I was just reading into it. So yeah, if anyone else has read A Man Called Ove, you feel free to tell me I'm wrong. It's a very beloved book by him. So I get nervous because Beartown's about like it's about, sexual assault in Canada. Not Canada, in Sweden. I think these books are Swedish. It's in Sweden for a hockey town. You finished Fairy Tale. Yay. I finished that this morning.
How did you feel?
How did I feel? I mean, I went in with the expectations of I might DNF this book, so I had a 4-star experience. That's what happens when you go in with floor expectations.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I have it.
Well, and I think Leslie wasn't a huge fan, which really shocked me. So,
ooh, Spear Cuts Through Water. Yeah, I mean,
yes.
I think it's overwritten, but that's what you can say about like 85% of what Stephen King's written. Like, that's a feature, not a bug. If you're picking up a Stephen King book, like, I don't know. At least that's my impression based off the Stephen King I've read. I'm almost always ready for the book to be over 100 pages before it's over. Like, that's my experience reading a Stephen King book. So I like know that going in. Oh, this sounds good. Okay. Well, at least good to know going in. Yeah, no, Ben, you and I connected on Man Called Ove. Guys, we chatted too long. Oh well. I got distracted by all these comments because you guys are chatting too much. Yeah, no. Also, Ove's not that old. He's like 50. It's like a whole thing. Yeah, so I read that book, and I actually liked A Different Bachman that no one talks about. It's My Grandmother Told Me to Tell You She's Sorry. I like that book. But no one ever talks about it, so. Well, yeah, no, I saw her Friday. So Leslie does weekly updates on Fridays, and she wanted him not to. It is blatantly like, here are popular fairy tale things. Like, this is the Wizard of Oz thing. This is the Cthulhu thing. Like, it's very like cherry picking fairy tales. I mean, if it works for you, he's written hundreds and hundreds of books, so you got stuff. All right. But I'm going to stop reading the comments because you guys have too many awesome things to say, and I want to read this book, which I didn't realize was gray on the inside, which makes me worried that I read this with the dust jacket last time and I was a monster.
I don't think you're allowed to be on BookTube. If
now I have a lurker.
Oh, cute cat.
What's your cat's name?
That one is Katya, and then the one down here in the box is Jujubee. They're named after 2 of our favorite drag queens.
I know Katya. I don't know the other one.
Jujubee?
I'm sure I'll recognize them.
Our favorite line is she dressed up to go to a family picnic. It was one of the challenges on RuPaul's Drag Race, and her character is Amber. And she's sorry she's late because she didn't want to come.
All right, I'm going to answer this question as I add this to our thing, but I'm liking it so far. But I need my mental health to stop being a butt because it needs like all of my brain power for me to visualize it.
How far into it are you?
40 pages? Not too far.
Okay.
There aren't like chapters.
No. I'm like 150 pages in, and it's really hard to find a place to like stop.
I love it, but it's like it requires brain cells. So yeah, no, I think Roger's cat is watching him.
Katya, yeah, she's definitely she's the lurker who gets to make all the
spots
because she likes to be cuddled and held all the time.
All right, I'm gonna start the timer. Everyone, best of luck with your reading goals. It's cute, right?
That was adorable.
Oh, what's beeping in the background for either of you?
That is the steamed rice.
Oh, that's exciting.
Ooh.
So if the cat hadn't gone off, there would have been that maybe. Oh my god. So I just got to chapter 2 in Shadows of Self, and it's when we get to all the characters we know from the first book by being vague, and I'm like cackling. I'm just like, I'm having too much fun. Steris is just my girl, and I'm having a good time.
Yeah, that's about where I got to, a couple pages of the chapter 2.
Yeah. That means Roger's significantly further than us, because where are you now?
I finished part 1, so what? I finished chapter 4.
Okay. Also, good morning, John.
I'm liking this book better because the setup is more CSI, less like random crimey, and so it's kind of entertaining.
Yeah. No, I was feeling that like I've been watching a lot of Bones because that's what I do, and also my mental health. And it reminds me of like, all right, I know all these people, and now we're just gonna do a thing, and we also have like our plot B banter in the background that's not the like case. So yeah. Ooh, what book are you reading, Kristen? And yay for pizza.
Yum.
Oh, Delilah, are you gonna come up here? Delilah, I've missed you. I haven't been like home all week. Here's Delilah.
Aww.
Oh, she's purring really loud. But no, Steris is everything. I just love her. I really should channel her more. She plans for the inevitable destruction of her plans so often, and I just want that. I need that energy in my life.
Aww. Yeah.
A cat meowed in my book just as the alarm went off. Sorry, that's something Beth said. I was like, is that us or is that actually in your book?
That was perfectly timed.
About 20 pages from the end of Shadow. Oh, that's a real cat.
That was Katya, yeah. She flips out every time Alex is in the kitchen. She likes to roll around on her back and try to get belly scratches when he's cooking.
Our cat Putao, he really likes, so I got us a mat for the kitchen that's like kind of the squishy foam, so when you're like doing dishes, at least your feet don't hurt, like that type of thing. And he loves to sit on it, and now he'll sit on it and not move when we're trying to like open the dishwasher or like get around our tiny Boston kitchen. It's not helpful in the least. But
that's like her. She's like a little trap. She'll be like right behind your feet, just like rolling around.
They just don't understand how small they are. I'm just like, because like even the biggest cat's only like what 25 pounds. Like they're not very big creatures for like.
Yeah, I think Katya is like 9 pounds, and then Jujubee is like 11.
Yeah, Delilah's 9 pounds. Oh, you're so pretty. No one ever gets to see her, but now that I sit here for sprints, she actually comes in my lap.
Aww.
But no, I'm liking this a lot. I think Alloy of Law, I have nostalgic feelings for it, but I agree, Roger. It's not like my favorite narrative device or plot framing.
Yeah, this one gives me more of the vibes that I like because I watch like crime shows. Like,
well, it's also like, you know, you and I talk about Charmed all the time. It's like that, where it's like there's a monster of the week element, and like, yeah, there's a reason we're here, but also just my characters being my characters with each other.
I watched so much Charmed yesterday.
What season are you on? Important
6.
fact.
Oh,
6 is so good. 6 might be my favorite. 6 is where you have Chris.
Which is my favorite. Yes.
6 has Chris. Chris is the best. Stephanie, do you know Charmed?
It's been a very long time, but I did watch a lot of it. So I am a fan.
I haven't rewatched since 2016, but I think I might be due. After Bones, it might be my next I Hate My Life rewatch. Because I always have to have one of those in rotation to remind me of the simpler times. I don't know. It's weird watching shows that were made before like smartphones. I think that's a very like odd millennial experience that like I don't think Gen Z will understand.
No.
Season 3 is also good. Season 3 is peak Cole Phoebe energy. That's true.
It was the perfect just hang out and veg when you have 103-degree fever type show for me yesterday.
You started your rewatch. That's great. Chris is amazing. I love Chris. And maybe part of it is the first season I started was season 6, and it was Chris's angsty episode with his like future girlfriend. and I was like, oh, I'm here for this YA angst drama. I didn't know that's what it was, but I was like 12, so watched on repeat. No, I watched it a lot in college too. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, no, Jimmy's doing a chat with Alex Nieves. I'm excited to watch that later because I like them both. I watched Friends once, all the way through, and I like it. It's not my. I think sitcoms are harder for me to rewatch. Like the one I want to rewatch is Parks and Rec, but I'm kind of scared. I don't know. I'm worried about things holding up.
Not even the Golden Girls.
I didn't grow up watching that all the way through, so the Golden Girls, Ryan and I just like pick out episodes and like watch them. Not to hurt you or anything like that.
I didn't watch Charmed until I was older, so my nostalgia is Golden Girls, Designing Women, and Murder, She Wrote.
Nice. Mine is Charmed, Buffy, Bones. That's my trifecta.
Yeah, and I do like all of those shows. I really do. But
what?
Yeah, no, Buffy's great.
Yeah.
So Buffy once a year, Charmed every other year. Tammy, it's okay if you've not watched Charmed. It's an odd show to watch in now because like in the first season, they're all younger than me and all they want to do is get married and have children. They have very different life goals.
Yeah.
It's an interesting 90s thing. I want to rewatch Doctor Who so bad, mainly because I want to get into the newest Doctor that's coming, and I kind of dipped out midway through Capaldi, who's the, I think, 12th Doctor. And I started with David Tennant, who's the 10th. And I love David Tennant. And I didn't mind Matt Smith, but I did mind the writing of season 7. And yeah, it hasn't really recovered from that for me. So, but I want to get back into it. But I kind of want Ryan to watch it with me. And I don't think he will, but it's what I want. But like for context, I love Doctor Who. Above my TV in this room, I have like my Doctor Who poster. So like, nice. It's one of my serotonin things. It brings me joy. Aiden, we're the same person.
Yes, okay. Another Murder, She Wrote person.
Murder, She Wrote's my grandmother's. I should buy her the DVDs for that because I don't think it's on any streaming service.
I was born an old lady.
I was born at 35, so I'm finally catching up to my actual age.
Yeah. I think the first 5 seasons are on like Tubi or something like that, but after that, like I have all the DVDs because nobody streams every season.
Yeah. Grace. Oh, nice. Had Grace never seen them before? And Donna's season is the best, but also one of the hardest. Although I watched Rose first as the companion, and so the end of season 2, I think I actually cried, and I don't cry for television that often, but the end of season 2 of Doctor Who, it hurt me. Like I had a lot of emotions. I never got into Supernatural because I would get scared. And I know it's not actually that scary, but I can't. I try. And then I hear all about where it jumps the shark and like there's a whole lore to Supernatural that I missed it.
Well, it's started getting very religious, so then not, and then
well, and then my sibling loves to tell me how I think the last episode, one of the characters was meant to be at least bisexual, I think, but then he was going to be in a different show and they didn't want to like alienate a fan base. But in the Spanish translation, they kept in the bisexual rep, but not in the English version. Like in terms of like, you know, the translation, like the script, I guess, just didn't get changed appropriately or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like I just feel like a lot of people connect to the first Doctor and companion they watch. Like I really loved Rose and the Doctor to the point where I think Martha, the second David Tennant companion, has a really good episodes. But the way that she's just pining for the Doctor, I'm like, girl, get your hands off of him. This must be platonic.
Yes.
Like, I'm not here for whatever you're doing. Yeah, this has been confirmed to me by a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, so I mean, Supernatural, it's like at least the first couple seasons I try to watch, it's like such weird lighting. Like, I like my shows to be a little brighter lighting. Like, I mean, I don't know. I like my syndicated TV to be fake. I like it to feel not real. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, dun, dun. Also, I think Jess just messaged me and says she can't make it. Oh no! When we're next sprint, I'm going to tell her. Everyone's going to keep thinking we have sprints happening because of all of our cat noises.
Right.
I mean, I'm used to it. The place I'm house sitting, the one cat will just yowl for minutes at a time looking for his mom. And I have to be the bad person that's like, your mom's not here. It's just me. And I know I'm not enough.
I don't know what Katya's doing. She's just sitting next to the wall. What are you doing?
Oh, man, Ben, we're going to have essays up in here. Commentary. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think the Doctor's in the right. And I firmly understand that I'm just overly in love with David Tennant and stuff like that. Like, he was just my TV boyfriend at the time. So I don't think you're wrong, Ben. But also, Martha was very thirsty, and I wanted her to stop being so thirsty.
I've never seen a single episode of Doctor Who, so I'm just like, who are you
There
talking
was the one bed trope, and she got so excited. But then,
okay.
Like, there was a lot.
Yeah.
But there are some, I mean, Doctor Who's fun. I think it's on in the United States HBO Max. I
think so.
I keep wanting to rewatch it, but the last time I rewatched it, I was preparing for my qualifying exam, so now I feel like I have like slight trauma associated with like that moment in my life. So yeah. All right. I'm always excited to see David Tennant in anything, although the 50th anniversary episode, I have never been so angry in my life. Because in a show that uses time travel as a device, if you are going to do time travel things, you can make mistakes make sense. But what happened is Moffat just didn't like what the previous director did at the end of David Tennant's reign and tried to rewrite that with this messy-ass episode. And I was just like, this has so many plot inconsistencies, and you are not bigger than this show, Steve. And I was just angry. It was the only saving grace was that Matt Smith and David Tennant played off of each other very well. You know, Pretty Little Liars might be my guilty pleasure because I watched the first part of it. I haven't seen like the new stuff. Like, I knew that they kept going at some point, but like I watched like the first bit of it and it was trash, but it was addictive trash.
I was addicted until like the second to last season, and then I was like, I'm over this.
Well, yeah, and I don't know.
It just kept like going and going, and I had read the books, which are way different.
I feel like I stopped at a point that was supposed to be the ending, and then they resurged it, and I don't know exactly what season that was, but
yeah, that's about where I stopped. But before that, so addicting.
No. Also, Moffat, the reason why he's so frustrating is that he actually writes some of the best singular episodes in Doctor Who, but give him the keys to the castle, and he just too big of a head. He needed to be contained. Just because Doctor Who was at its best when it was episodic, with like a normal season where like there's a little bit of plot connections at the beginning and ends of seasons, but you could watch any episode in any order, kind of like Star Trek. And then Moffat decided it had to be chronological, and I'm like, this is a time travel show. Did you miss the method? Like, I didn't like what he did a lot.
Yeah.
So I could talk about Doctor Who for a long time. I just need Leslie not to be nearby because we have very drastically different opinions about our favorite doctors. I want to watch this, but I'm nervous because no one likes the ending. And I'm like an endings person. Yeah, no, I mean, Moffat was good at stuff. It's just that like he was also bad at stuff. Same.
Yeah, the 8 episodes these days, I don't understand why we've gone that far that down.
Yeah, whoever picked 8, I have no clue. Yeah. I'm just preparing us. It's going to meow at us, and then we get to read again. Because I'm actually kind of excited because Wayne just showed up, so I'm excited for shenanigans. And Starrett and him just had a nice little back and forth, which by nice, I'm sure other people think is bad dialogue, but I cackled. So
I love Wayne. He's the comedic relief that I need.
I also like, so the prologues for this series, I don't think it's a spoiler, are all prequels to where we are. Like, they're all earlier flashbacks. And I love that in this prologue, we saw baby Wayne. I just thought that was really cute.
Baby Wayne. I imagine him in a little hat.
He did have one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys in 30 minutes.
Okay. Good. That meowed right at the end of my chapter.
That's beautiful.
So
I didn't quite get to part 2. I was close, but I wasn't quite there.
Yeah, that's just where I got. So excited.
And Roger, where are you at the end of the book? You started Bands of Mourning.
No, I almost finished chapter 5 is long.
Well, it was like Alloy of Law is only 13 chapters or something for like 300 pages. Like the chapters in that book were outlandish.
Yeah, all of a sudden I was like chapter 5 and I was like reading it on Kindle and I was like, oh, hello. It's like 30 pages left in chapter, or 30 minutes left in chapter. And I was like, excuse me?
I don't really love long chapters. Like it's not a choice. I always have to be convinced why a chapter needs to be that long. Like it's never a thing where I'm like,
nothing is as egregious as Wheel of Time and some of those damn prologues when I was on audio and it was like 4 hours and I was like, excuse me? For a prologue?
The reason why I got Knife of Dreams done so quickly is I had a drive from Cleveland to Boston. And so it was like 5:20 in the morning. And I decide, okay, we're going to start Knife of Dreams, 5:20 in the morning. I listen at like 2 times speed, but the prologue was still 3 hours and 40 minutes. So probably by the time Stephanie woke up, I finally left my message of my thoughts on the prologue in our Voxer chat.
Yes.
So yeah. It's great. You always scare people when you get them from a sprint, so it might as well be that cat.
Yeah.
Did you not like the reread your first time? Or the read your first time? I'm actually having a blast with this, but I think I've needed this type of brain candy. Like, I just think Mistborn Era 2 knows that it's, like, pulpy. Like, I just feel like it knows that's what it is. And I thrive in that sometimes.
Yeah, I really like his long stuff, and I don't mind it, but sometimes it's nice to have short and fast.
Yeah. And I was thinking after this break, we'll do one more sprint and then call it a night, unless you need to leave earlier, either of you.
I have to leave pretty soon because our dinner's ready. Alex made tri-tip, so...
Okay, so how about you, unless you need to leave before 12 minutes, you leave after our break.
Okay.
And we'll say bye. So, yeah. Bands of Mourning is my favorite, and like one of my close friends had just finished his reread. He was just texting me, and he was like, I forgot it was so linear. I'm like, I feel like all of Mistborn's linear, but maybe I'm misremembering. And he agrees Bands of Mourning's his favorite. So yeah. Hey, Pooh Town. If you guys didn't hear, that was a real cat down on the ground over here. Fuzzy and cute. I miss my cats a lot, so like I'm home for like 2 hours with them so you guys can have a good internet experience. Because my internet at the house I'm staying at is, well, I guess they don't stream on YouTube, so they don't care about their upload speeds.
Your cats are like, why have you abandoned us?
They actually don't care that much. I came home and they were sleeping on the couch, and they just, like, casually looked up and then went back to sleep. There was no... Show us your project. What are you knitting?
A throw.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I've yet to get around to knitting a blanket. I like to crochet blankets too much.
I've never crocheted, but it's like the perfect audiobook project because I don't have to count stuff, but it's challenging enough that I'm not just bored. Yeah. So.
Also, I just saw this. I am also excited. Although I haven't watched Sex Education, I'm just excited for a new doctor because I always get excited. Although I wonder how long they're going to prevent the doctor from being a ginger, because that just seems to be a running joke at this point. And I'm like, there are options. He wakes up once as a doctor when he regenerates and asks if he is a ginger. And he always wants to be, but he never is. So, but the fan base got really mad when he was regenerated as a woman because, they claim it's because in this fantastical sci-fi world, that's not allowed. But I claim misogyny. But... unsure. It's kind of like how, transgender representation in Wheel Time is doing real well. And by real well, I mean not great.
Or the new black Ariel is...
I love that, like, on Twitter, Shannon McGuire is explaining how if we were actually going to do mermaids, they'd be ugly, fat, large predators. Like, she's like, I have talked to people. I wrote this book, and if you are trying to find the scientific, viable way for a large mammal-like creature to be part fish, it would not look like anything we're seeing here.
No, people are just wild because they were even bullying that girl who got cast as Annabeth in like Percy Jackson, and I'm like, she's like 12. Like, come on.
And also, like, Rick's always been inclusive, and he was straight up like, I picked her, calm down.
Yeah.
Also, Annabeth is, I've only read 2 Percy Jackson books, but what I know about Annabeth is that she likes the New York Yankees, which means she's from New York, which means her being a person of color makes sense to me. Like, that is the majority of the population of people in New York, despite what shows like Friends or How I Met Your Mother make you think. Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, people are wild. Like, they're absolutely wild. It's but then also on the flip side, I don't know how much you guys think about this. It's like, I both think it's heartening to see children's reactions and being excited about The Little Mermaid, but I also am like, none of these children have consented to becoming TikTok memes that we're all just sharing everywhere. Like, they're like 4. So I feel a little weird.
They're going to grow up and be like, thanks, Mom, for putting that on the internet.
Well, like, there has to be, I don't remember how old they would be now, but, you know, like, the one, like, meme or gif of that one face of a kid that everyone uses on everything. Like, that's a real person.
I know.
Like, so I don't know. I'm glad I grew up in a time where social media came to me before my parents, because I know some Gen X parents who put their kids on social media more than I would have wanted to be put on social media.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually all reading Shadows of Self. Stephanie and I are like at the same part, and Roger's like 20 pages ahead of us.
Yeah.
So that's what we're reading. But I mean, you can read whatever you want. Evie, you're reading a Robin Hobb. That's what I'm gonna see in my crystal ball.
I think she is.
No, yeah, I think she's reading Fool's Fate.
Yeah.
I'm pretending like I'm guessing. I think I actually know this.
I think you're right.
So. I forget, Roger, how far into Realm of the Elder Things you've read Assassin's Apprentice and Royal Assassin? And you've had a great time.
Stephanie's eyeing me.
You at least don't dislike Fitz as much as Elle does. So
no, I think it's very well written. I like the magic. I really like Night Eyes. I just need more than Fitz's teenage perspective, and I wish that things didn't always happen off page. Because especially in Royal Assassin, there was like some cool things that were happening, and I was like, "We're gonna go see stuff," and then he doesn't go; he stays behind, and I was like,
"Yeah." I mean, I just have to be in the right headspace to be with Fitz, mainly because I just don't always want to be with Fitz. So do not unsubscribe from Roger. Also, speaking of subscribing, I have both of their channels linked in the description. I did do that. You should go there, check them out. Roger speaks in many languages during reviews. It's technically only for numbers, but it's
but
there.
In my defense, Evie, it's a little slow.
It is.
No, Evie knows that. Evie just loves every sentence Robin Hobb writes, and I'm excited for when she won't like The Rain Wild, but she'll pretend she likes it because it's at least Hobb. Like, I'm ready for that moment.
Yeah. Because I like Live Ship more than Fitz.
That's what I hear, and I think that I would like Live Ship more because I'm going to get more perspectives. It's going to be more of the drama and more of the mess, and I'm here.
Evie, you have single-handedly paid for at least 20% of my library at this point. Partially that's I don't buy that many books. And Live Ship is why I like to read fantasy. Like, I think Live Ship frustrates me now because I know Hobb is capable of doing what I want. It's kind of like when I read a Robert Jordan book that I like, where it's like, oh, you can do it. You can actually make me really like something. You just actively choose not to. You're just like, nah, man. I mean, Evie, I don't know what you want. I'm liking all the books you tell me to read. You're the one who's just like trashing. I filmed my favorite standalone video, and I didn't even realize afterwards. Like, man, I gave Evie like 3 of these books to read, and she's just like.
But at least I love Winter Night, Evie, so that is a saving grace, right?
I mean, Roger already knows that if he doesn't like Jemison to not come for me. Like, we've already discussed. We had a long discussion about if Venus Blood would be read. Like, we've had long chats. I need more Jemison. I can't wait to reread The City We Became. Because like I'm the only person on BookTube who likes that book, apparently. Like, I don't understand.
I like it. I have a review for it. It's good.
Evie, it's September 16th, and this is the September TBR swap, so at least until the end of September.
She's gonna need an apology video, so it's on record.
Well, and I think she knows I'm not mad. Like, I had a great time with the books. And, Evie, I did start as my audiobook, the last one that's by the person who wrote I Am Legend. It's very depressing. Like, I think I knew it was about death, but it's about death. Winter Night is great. I was going to reread Spinning Silver this year, but then I got mad at Naomi Novik, so I don't think I'll be doing that anymore. So, I mean, I own the book, so it's not really like any sort of actual protest. I'm just annoyed with her as a person. So. What? I'm just saying, if you want to publish a book as a young adult book, then do it.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just love when you get angry.
It's a petty thing, and she doesn't need me to read or not read her book. She's doing just fine.
Yeah.
Like, she's thriving. She's a published author, bestseller. She's doing great. So I just like saw her tweet accepting the Lotus Award. I was just like, yeah.
Oh. Did you see the short story collection you and Evie just read? Maria, I think made the National Book Award long list.
Woo! I'm so happy for it.
And I didn't know any of the other books on that list, but I recognized that one because you guys talked about it.
I only know about anything in the literary space because of Evie and Kieran. That's it. Mm-hmm. I actually now follow like a good amount of like lit people on BookTube, and it brings me like Fraser too. Fraser Simmons. He does a good amount of sci-fi and literary. Yeah. And Books and Bow is my favorite literary fiction booktuber. Like, I don't even care about the books. Today they put up a short story collection, a Korean short story collection. I'm not going to read it. I watched the review. I just love their style. I'm just like, yeah, talk to me. Yeah. If you have a soothing voice.
They're amazing.
Wafted over me. But it's exciting, Evie. You have good taste, except for The Sword of Pagan. Horrible taste there. Yeah. Oh, do you not like that one either, Roger? I don't need to hear it.
I've never read it.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's fine. That's reasonable. There's so many books.
You still have hope.
I can't imagine you not at least having like a fun time. You might just be like, it was like, 3.5, 4 stars. I'll accept that. I just can't imagine you like hating it.
I hate very few things.
Well, lately you've been like, there's been some tea in your reviews on your channel.
Friggin' babble. Ugh.
That hurt. That really hurt.
I honestly, I trust anyone's review of it who's been in academia more than anyone else. Like, truly, that's where I'm at. Although you've been in academia too, Stephanie. You have a master's, so. But babble is babble. Well, Roger, we're gonna start reading in a minute, so you can go have food. What are you eating? Tell us what you're gonna eat.
Tri-tip and steamed rice. I'm gonna keep watching the Winx show on Netflix because it's actually surprisingly good.
Oh, nice. No, I mean, what I want to do, but I keep not doing, because I started rewatching Jane the Virgin with my cousin, because I really like that on Netflix. But she made me start in the middle at season 3, even though I'd only seen season 1. But it's like super addictive. And then I left her and I haven't kept going. But she's also on my Netflix account, so I'd be messing up with her thing. So I'll just get back to it when she goes back to Venezuela. But yeah, Kieran is the best. No, I mean, I've always liked literary fiction. It's just a matter of like, I didn't know that side of BookTube because I'm primarily trying to get recommendations for speculative stuff for myself. So
yeah,
it's been nice. Also, Kieran reading Twilight is giving me life.
Oh my god!
I don't know if you guys know that, but he's reading Twilight, and
I look forward to the updates.
It's just when he did the Southern accent, I died. I died.
I laughed out loud so hard.
All right. Well, bye, Roger. He timed it to the cat. Anyways, I'm gonna read.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. You know, I've accomplished more tonight than I expected. Especially with mental health, like, I'm now at page 100. That's not bad.
Oh, good. I did catch up. Yeah, that's not
you were
bad.
ahead of me last time. So.
Well, I had to take Butch out.
Fair, but you read faster than me, so that tracks.
That's okay.
I mean, I don't mind my reading speed. I've accepted who I am. I represent all average speed readers on BookTube. I just spend a lot of time reading, which is less normal, I feel. I feel more people have well-rounded hobbies.
Yeah. It's boring.
Oh. So what did everyone else accomplish at sprints tonight? Because we are going to wrap up, because I need to drive 45 minutes back. Actually, it'd probably only be 40 minutes because there should be no traffic. If God help me if there's traffic at 10:50 at night. I won't be a happy camper if that's the case. I won't be. Well, speaking of campers, that is one of the things I like about Kieran's channels. He always say, what does he always say? Like, welcome campers or something?
Evening campers.
It's great. But no, yeah. I'm enjoying the world building in this book. I think the world building is also better in Shadows of Self than Alloy of Law. Like, Alloy of Law is like a tease of like an expanded idea. And I feel like Shadows of Self, it's like, ooh, yes, show me the terrace people, you know?
Yes. And I like the like crime stuff that's going on in here. It's very intriguing.
Yep. It's also just like so fascinating how like different I see certain interpersonal relationships on a reread. Like, because first time through I was still like pining for a certain ship. I was really rooting for a ship my first read, and so I kept seeing things that weren't there.
I bet that's what I'm doing.
It's just fascinating because now that I'm not blinded by my need as like a consumer to want something, I'm like, oh, I was just tricking myself.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
That's true. So glad you got to join me tonight, though. It's been so long since we've hung out.
I know. It's been nice. And it was good to get some reading in, too.
It's a nice way to start the weekend. Start it feeling like, entertainment productive.
Yes. And it was a nice way to end the week. It hasn't been a bad week, just a crazy week.
So. Yeah, that sounds like September. And it's finally like fall here-ish. Well, early fall. Like in the mornings, I've been going on these trails and it's been like 55, 60 degrees. And I'm like, yes. I know you're in the South and that's not what your life is, but...
No, it's okay. Well, it's actually been like 70s in the morning, which is nice. And then it's been no higher than like high 80s. However, next week it's going to be the high is 97. And it's like, well, that didn't last long.
Oh, I'm sorry. It'll end eventually. You guys do get colder temperatures in the winter, right? Like 60?
Yeah.
So... that seems like the best time of year to go to the South. Is it? Like, I don't actually know. But...
yeah, we get like 3 weeks of fall weather and then like a couple months of winter weather and then like 3 weeks of spring and then like 6 months of summer. So,
truly. The only issue is that here, we just still have a lot of our windows open. We just don't have the fans running to keep the place at like a comfortable temperature. But now it gets kind of cold enough at night that the cats get the zoomies early. Does that ever happen to your pets when it's like cold and like brisk so they suddenly have all this energy? That happens to our guys.
I think they're used to me freezing them out.
Got it. Yeah, no, here like the summer they're lethargic. And if it gets really cold, they're tired. But like the sweet spot seems to be like 50 to 60 degrees. They are wild children. And they're like so old, but they are just like bombastic. They're just everywhere. Yeah. So yeah. So Ryan's been dealing with that, unfortunately for him. I haven't been here. He sent me a picture because the cat, it also leads to them fighting more. They have so much energy, so they get on each other's toes. And they were both on our bed, and he put a blanket between them, like in a line. And he's like, I have found a truce. Because they wouldn't cross the line. I was just dying. So yeah. I'm easily amused by cat content, though. The thing I sent you with the Oreos, that TikTok, I've watched it like 10 times.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
For those who have not seen it, it's a cat in a cat tree. commenting on how humans are like, well, the back of the food says half a cup of cat food. And she's like, well, that's sure, but I'm pretty sure the Oreo box doesn't say, what was it? It's like 16 Oreos, but here we are, Belinda. And it's true.
And I regulate my facial expression right then was like,
yeah, it's like, okay, you regulate what I eat, but I know where you're going right now.
Right.
And Oreos are my personal kryptonite in terms of forgetting that serving sizes and portion controls should maybe exist.
Yeah. We all have a guilty pleasure.
I don't know if I'm so much guilty about it, but it is probably one of the snacks that if I always purchased it would lead to unsustainable weight gain. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't feel guilty about it, but I recognize my weakness.
Gotcha.
You know? Gotcha. The trick is to keep food around that maintains my current size. I don't want to fluctuate either way. It's too much effort to buy new clothes. That's my main thing. I don't like buying new clothes. It stresses me out. So yeah. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Hope you enjoyed reading or doing whatever you were doing. Thank you for watching if you came here later. And the live show for this is going to be next Saturday at noon Eastern time. There should be a link in my Friday reads for sure. I'll put a link in the description of this when I'm done with it. But it'll be on my channel and it'll be lovely. And I'm very excited, especially just because like I really don't remember what happens in this book. Like I'm having fun, but I have no memory. I'm just like, what happened in this book? Like there are world building things I remember, but like in terms of plot, I'm just like, yeah, no clue.
Yeah, that'll make for a fun live show though.
Oh, I'm sure. All right. Bye, everyone.